DanDaDan is doing better than everyone else right now. Do you like spirit mediums, the occult, crazy bullshit powers like telepathy and going fast? Or do you want a story about aliens and DanDaDan has both. DanDaDan, a story by Yukinobu Tatsu, has been being serialized on Shonen Jump Plus for the past few years now, and I've been wanting to talk about it since I started reading it about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I've mentioned it on the favorites videos, I've mentioned it in passing, but now, today, finally, we're gonna talk about this shit, cause it's so good. Y'all think I've glazed before? No, you ain't heard me talk about DanDaDan yet, buddy. If you have no idea what DanDaDan is about, well, it's really hard to describe. Like I said, space and occult mixed together. That's kind of the whole point. Momo, at the beginning, is raised by a psychic lady, and Okarun is a little nerdy guy who just loves space and aliens and shit. So, it's very self-explanatory. They cross paths, they find out that each other are both right, and then shenanigans ensue. But it's also a lot grander scale. There's a lot of really great world building and everything, but none of that's important because this is a romance at its heart, while also having some of the coolest and hypest moments ever of all time. So, to start, the most important thing in this series is the characters. This is a batshit insane, random, hilarious battle shonen with romance at the center. The characters have to be lovable to make this work, and they are some of the most lovable extended cast of characters I've ever seen in a series like this, with one of the most compelling romances at its heart. Obviously, our main two, Momo and Okarun, are amazing. It's hard to decide truly who is the MC, and I wouldn't really have it any other way. Okarun feels like an any other series alone would be, but Momo brings such a charismatic and important edge to every single interaction, while also being the lead promo that only Tatsu could pull off and makes them equal in my and everyone else's mind. Okarun feels like your classic timid hero, thrusted into a world he can't compete in. Not naturally gifted, but working hard to protect those he loves. He locks in when necessary and is passionate. Momo, on the other hand, is your delinquent type, a hard-ass lady who does not take shit from nobody. A very strong female lead from something like an action shoujo. Ira and Gigi are our two first and main secondary protagonists, both repping their own flair on a classic MC type. Ira feels straight out of a magical girl battle series, claiming to rid the world of its demons while using a flashy and elegant fighting style. Gigi is just the classic, wears his heart on his sleeve, dumbass protagonist, and I love him. Now, listen, if you haven't watched Season 2 yet, if you haven't watched DanDaDan all yet, you're probably not gonna like Gigi very much at the start, but I need you to hold on. Please. He's so good. That's my goal. Gigi Defense Squad, please back me up here. Look at him. Bro. Oh my god. We will talk about everybody else a little more in depth later. While all of these characters do rep these archetypes, none of them feel like they are archetypes, obviously. Good writing. They have just enough of these traits to make them recognizable and clear plays, but more than enough quirks and fleshing out to help them feel like so much more. I'm gonna try being as directly spoiler avoidant as I can, but I need to talk about one of my favorite parts of this entire manga from Okarun. I don't see a lot of people talk about, but let me set the scene. In this arc, a lot has happened. Everybody is really tired. They're fighting against some really crazy, powerful motherfuckers. Okay. Gigi, Ira, Mr. Shrimp, the Goat, Momo, of course. They're all out fighting for my girl here. No spoilers. And Okarun, who literally 1v20'd earlier, is kind of out for the count. And he's really tired. If you've watched the first season, if you haven't, he is a very, sheepish guy. He is not the classic protagonist, like I said earlier. He's very sheepish. He doesn't really believe in himself at all. So he gets up, and everybody's gone. They're in the middle of this big climactic battle, and he's just not there, and he's weak. He just got his ass beat, and he doesn't know what to do. But then we see this. And then the next page is him transforming. This guy who does not believe in himself at all, who very genuinely meant that he doesn't think he can make it, he doesn't think he could do it, was just going to give up and wait. And all it took was my girl Momo giving him that one little push. This is the craziest lock-in I have ever seen in my life. This is why I love Ogurun, because it's not that he just pulls through at the end. He does. He always pulls through at the end. But he gets his ass beat every step of the way. He has rarely had a fight that has been easy for him, at least since the beginning. And he's not built for this, but he pulls through every single time. That is my GOAT. Now, Momo, she's just awesome. She is the heart of every single battle. Honestly, she's the brains, and honestly, a lot of the brawn, too. She's got these really cool telekinetic powers that show up as her hands, kind of like extending from her. Really cool. As well as just being a very, strong female lead. So much so that, again, like I said earlier, she's, the head of a lot of the promo. At least before the anime. At the anime, it's a little bit more even, a little bit more Okurun focused even. But when it was just the manga, it was mostly Momo at the head of all these color pages and everything promoting the series. She is the it girl. And she's got this hardened, slightly brutish, delinquent-esque kind of attitude to her. It makes you love her so much. She's so badass and cool. I love these guys so much. These are my protagonists. Like I said earlier, Gigi, he's that guy. Ira, that girl. They both have really great interactions with each other, and mainly our main two, as this is kind of a little bit of a love square-ish, but please don't let that deter you at all. It is played in a way that is really, really well done, in a way that only accentuates Momo and Okurun's relationship. For example, this is very early on. If you've seen the first season of the anime, then you know what I'm talking about. There is a bit of that classic shoujo type, misunderstanding of the guy and the girl because of Ira butting in. And that might be bothersome to you, because it is to me a lot of the time. But the reason I love it so much is because they talked about it. Unlike in every other series, they just talked about it. They figured it out. That doesn't happen. They just figured it out, because Ogurun, despite being as sheepish as he is, cares about this girl so much, just stepped up and said shit, and it's really sweet. I love them so much. So please give Ira and Gigi a shot, please. I beg you. I love both of them so much, and so many people hate on them because they're kind of like the other ends of the square. I just don't agree with that. I love them so much, and they are perfect, and have been the center points of multiple arcs for a reason, because they have so much potential, both as powerhouses and just as really well done characters. I mean, Ira's first arc, come on. Gigi's first. They're both. They're so good. Please. All right. So last time I made an entire art section, I struggled so much, as well as the time before that and the time before that. So I should probably never do that again. I've never taken an art class. I don't know how to talk about it. But this time, I'm just gonna talk about how Tatsu is kinda just that guy. Let's just talk about his pen in general, and how amazing he is with some of his illustrations with this series. Look at him. I adore his style, and it brings so much expression to these characters and their designs from other series. Look at these. And they translate even better to the freaky shit in his manga. He's got some really weird occult alien bullshit. Just a fantastic character designer, too. Very expressive, very gets the point across. It's great. In a series about aliens and the occult, you have to have a taste of horror, and he succeeds incredibly. And in these instances, his best showing of horror is with our MC Okurun, and showing his powers going hog wild. Just beautiful stuff. And really quick, you're going to be confused by this out of context, but we have to discuss how he can draw anything. He can draw anything. All of this is from the same series, which not only shows the thematic craziness, but also just his penmanship, his incredible ability to make these styles fit into the same world. This is insane. And on the horror bit, Like, look at Evil Eye. That's all you have to know. This is insane. And the first few episodes of the second season, I think, do a fantastic job of conveying that in a animated show. I was really worried about it, honestly, but I think they did a fantastic job. His action is incredibly electric and dynamic, incorporating the paneling and general composition so well. It's nothing inventive, it's nothing insane in terms of paneling and composition, but it's incredibly effective for action. Like this panel with Gigi beating the shit out of Joker. Like, look, he steps out of the panel and beats his... It's just little moments like this always pop up throughout the entire series. It is incredibly impressive how he can convey such awesome action so effectively and simply. Like, look, we're going to talk about probably my favorite panel in the entire series. And I don't think there's going to be much spoilers here. Look at this. The ability to convey so much in one very simple, incredible double-page spread. So for the anime onlys, I don't think you're going to understand what's going on with the story. Obviously, that's why I think this is fine. But I want you to take a gander at what is happening here. I think it is so easily shown what is going on here if you have no context. The effect of just these characters standing in a line with this one simple word bubble shows everything you need to know about this entire climax and what's about to go down. And then, spoilers for the next 5 seconds, this happens right after. Come on, dude. DanDaDan tells its story and has a style that I've never really quite seen. Obviously, with the whole alien occult bullshit, of course, that is very different, very unique. But I mean more in just the way it tells it. It's very fast-paced, as is with a lot of Shonen Jump stories nowadays, of course. But it just feels different. It doesn't stop, but not in a way that feels too much. You know, there is a lot of One Piece comparisons I could make here with its style, honestly. It always ends an arc with a nice little sit-down meal with everybody. It is like a literal tradition. Like, you can tell when an arc is done because that happens every single time. As well with its incorporation of flashbacks at certain times in arcs and battles. Feels very One Piece-esque. But again, very contained, very short, you know. Another comparison is recently in chapter 163. 163 chapters in, we met our main antagonist. And we finished our main ensemble, is what it feels like. It feels like the end of the prologue, 163 chapters in, but not in a way that was like, oh, holy shit, they only had like 2 arcs. There was like so many arcs leading up to that. It feels like an entire series happened until then. You know, this is way past where the anime is at. It is incredibly fast-paced. Like, the alien invasion arc feels like a final battle. But then afterwards, you're like, oh, that was a first round. That was an appetizer. You know, that is the stakes that it is building and building and building, and the pace that it is building and building and building. And it is incredibly fun to read week to week, and even better to read on a reread all the way through. Just incredible stuff. That is another thing that I want to bring back up. DanDaDan's backstories are literally only paralleled by One Piece. There has not been a single backstory that has not made me immediately fall in love with any character. Some that have made me cry. These backstories do not fuck around. This is real character building bullshit right here, okay? And another thing I want to talk about is people referring to DanDaDan and its quote-unquote fan service. That disgusts me. This is supposed to be uncomfortable. You know, with episode 1 and with certain things that do happen down the line, this is not supposed to be fun to watch. And when you say that, it completely demeans the point of that scene and just gives such a terrible idea. And then there's some people that I've heard say, well then, yeah, if you want to showcase uncomfortable subjects like that, why are they preteens? It's like, I get that, but I think the story wouldn't work if they weren't awkward and hormonal. You know, that is the entire point of this story. They are hormonal and young and stupid and don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know, that is the point. You know, and also to act like things like that don't happen at that age is even more naive and stupid. This is a series with some pretty heavy topics all around. It seems crazy and fun, and it is, but there are equally deep and uncomfortable moments throughout this entire series. And to devalue that by calling it fan service or just dismissing it is incredibly, incredibly stupid. And I just don't agree with it at all. So please do not let that steer you away. Don't let that steer you away. If you have a problem with watching stuff like that, I get it. You can skip over that part for sure. But don't let it, seem like it is some gross, ecchi series. No, not at all. Not at all. So, to end out, I've talked a lot about DanDaDan, but I feel like I haven't talked about DanDaDan at all. There is so much to this series, and I want to keep talking about it. But the point of this video isn't to do my normal thing of rambling about everything I loved, or even the more in-depth retrospectives, or anything like that. The point of this video is to get you to read it, or to get you to watch it. I care about this series so much, and have been reading it for a while, and the anime is a great opportunity for a lot of people to jump in. And especially right on this arc, Evil Eye is where, in my opinion, it really picks up. It really sets its tone and figures out what it's going for. So please, 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 if you haven't, start DanDaDan. Watch Season 2. The end of Season 2 is probably going to be insane. And let's just have a fun time. I want to talk about DanDaDan more. I want to introduce DanDaDan to more people. So please, buckle up and experience this absolutely batshit insane shonen manga with me. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.